Good day, dear listener, and you are welcome back to today's tutorial session. In today's session, we will be continuing from where we stopped in our last lesson on how to set up the EduPortal software for your school. If you recall, in our previous lesson, we were able to set up and activate a session, which is this session 2024-2025. We're able to set up terms, and we also activated the current term from the school configuration. We activated the current term, which we set it to first term. So in today's tutorial session, we will be continuing from there, and in this lesson we will be setting up classes and students. So to set up a class, you come to the sidebar here and you navigate to classes. You click on classes and you wait for it to load. Now this is where the setup for classes happens. You see we are under classes, but if you click on any of these, you won't be able to see any drop down. You can see there is no drop down when we click on any of these, and this is simply because we have other configuration we need to do here. For the class group, we need to come to class group and we create a class group. Now class group simply means the class, that's is it primary 1, primary 2, JS1 or SS3, anyone. So here you can come here, select a class group, let's say JS1, and for the class group level we can set it to from the school config here. Okay, for the purpose of what we did in when we were doing the school configuration, we set the number of academic years to 11, and we can confirm that by going to the dashboard. From the dashboard we go to school config and we set it to 11. So for the purpose of this lesson, we will be using 11 as the number of school academic years. So we head back to classes and we click on class group level. So since we are dealing with 11 academic years, that means we'll have primary 1 to 5. So we can name this primary 1, and class group level, you can see the class group level is set to the number of academic years. So this will be at class group level 1, that is for primary 1, and you can do this for the rest. You say primary 2, and for primary 2 it will be at class group level 2. As you are doing it, you will see that it is being updated at the bottom here. So we go next, primary 3, and we set it to class group level 3. Always remember to save your changes, if not you won't see it appearing at the bottom, and when it does not appear at the bottom, it simply means what you did has not been saved. So always save your changes. So primary 4 will be class group level 4. So to hasten this process, I will just speed it up a bit and we'll continue from there. And finally, we have SS3 class group level 11. And when you scroll down, you can see we have all of these. You can see the class group levels are arranged accordingly. So that will be all for the class group. We've saved all of these changes. Next, we can head to the class category. Now in the class category, this is where we get to select, is it junior class or senior class, or is for the primary section. So for this, we can say class group, that means we'll have 3 different class categories. We will have for the primary section, and the minimum pass subjects, let's set it to 9 for the purpose of this lesson. So you can see it's here, the class category, and we still have 2 more categories. So here we can see junior secondary school. And minimum pass subjects, we set it to 9 as well. And for the last class category, we can say senior secondary school, and we can set this to 10. And don't forget to save your changes. And in case you want to edit, we always have an action button. We can edit this 9 to 8. So you click on the drop down and select edit. So here we can change this. Instead of 9, we want it to be 8. So you save changes and you can see that here. So with this, we have set up for the class category. Next, let's set up the class arms. For the class arms, this is where you get to choose, do you want each class to have A, B, C, maybe primary 1A, primary 1B, or maybe primary 1 gold, primary 1 silver, or anything you want to call the class arms. So here we can select the class arms. So here we can just say A, we save the changes. So for the purpose of this, we'll be working with only 2 class arms, which are A and B. You can always edit it with this action button. And now when you go back to classes, we should be able to complete the class setup. For now, we've not created any class yet. So here, when we click on this class group, you see we now have a drop down. So let's start with primary 1. So set up primary 1 class group. We select the class arm, which is A. Let's select A for now. Primary 1 should be primary section. So the class teacher, we've not set up teachers yet, so we can always come back to do that later. And here we have the minimum subject for primary school. We set it to 8. So here we select the minimum subject. Remember, the other time we set up the minimum pass subject, here is the minimum subject we are setting, and we can click on save. You see we have 1 class created, primary 1A. So we can do that for the rest of the classes. Let's do that for primary 1B. So we continue, and here we see 8. You save the changes. And remember, you can always edit. When we create the class teacher, you can simply add the class teacher by clicking on this action button. It brings you to the interface where you can select the class teacher. When we add class teachers, they will all appear here. So in order not to waste much of your time, I will do this same process for the remaining classes. Then we come back. And now we are done adding all the classes. So if you check, you discover you have all the classes. We should have up to 22 because we had 11 class groups, but we have 2 different class arms, that is A and B. So each of the class groups will have A and B, and that gives us the total of 22. You can see we have for junior secondary school, we have for primary, and we have for secondary. This is arranged in alphabetical order. So that will be all for the class group. However, note that you can always come back here to add teacher by simply clicking on the action button. So let's head over to adding students. Next, we want to set up students. We want to add students. So you come back here and you click on students. And upon loading, we can add students manually, or if you already have an Excel sheet, which the format will be provided to you, you can upload students using an Excel sheet by coming to upload students here. come to upload students and you simply click on choose file. Now you then choose a file from your system containing the students you have, but for now we want to add students manually. So here, if we had students, we can always filter the classes, but we don't have students in any of these classes. So even if we filter a class, we won't get any results. So we simply click on add students, and we will just be adding students for only one class. So here, this student already has a default registration number, so we leave the registration number as it is. So we select session, we are working with this session. We select a class name, so let's add for primary 1A. So it's in the primary section and we can give it a house. For now, we haven't created houses yet, so we'll skip this for now. We don't have houses created. If you have the student's photograph, you can add it by choosing a file, and here we can add the surname of the student. Let's say Richard Benjamin. Gender, we say male. Date of birth, you can add all of these. You can add the address if you want. You can add the email. Marital status, you can choose to ignore. You can add the parents' details and you click on save. So we have successfully added one student. So if we come back to students and we click on the filter, let's filter students in primary 1A. You see we have added Benjamin Richard in primary 1A, and you can clear students in this class if necessary. And remember, you can always click on the action button to edit any information of the student. So now let's go ahead and add 2 more students to this class, then we proceed from there. So here we can select primary school, select the class primary 1A, and here we can see Moses Daniel. You can choose gender male, select country if you want, otherwise you leave it blank. Select any state and you can add the parents' details if provided. You save and we add 1 more student for this class. Select the session, which is the current session primary 1A, and you click OK. We said we are skipping houses because we haven't created any house yet, and we can see Cynthia Jeremiah. You can see gender female. You can fill in all other details and you save changes. Now if we come to students and we filter by class, we should see that we have 3 students in primary 1A. So you can see these are the 3 students we have added. So do well to practice this. You can go ahead and add as many students as you have into various classes. With this, we have come to the end of this lesson. In the next lesson, we will be continuing from where we stopped in this lesson. Now, in our next lesson, we will be looking at the following sections. We will be setting up teachers and we will be setting up subjects. So in our next lesson, we will set up teachers and also add new subjects to the platform. Thank you and see you in the next lesson.